Welcome to Kindred, hosted by me, Kate, and my sister, Jen. In this podcast, we explore our human relationship to the natural world. In connecting to this planet, we also connect to understanding, compassion, and empathy. How can we see ourselves not as separate or above animals in nature, but a critical and integrated part of an active ecosystem? Through conversations with animal advocates, scientists, conservationists, and many others, we look to inspire a new awareness of how and why we connect to animals and nature in order to repair and restore our relationship to the natural world. Hello and welcome back to Kindred. How are you today, sister?
I'm good. It's a lovely, lovely morning here.
It is cool and crisp. Yes,
Yeah.
Back to Kindred, where we talk about things that I really love, like nature and animals, and where we listen to people far smarter than myself. And I make you, my co-host sister, learn all about them too. I'd like to think of it as conservation work, one sister at a time.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yes. Oh, and I have some news for you. I don't know if you know this. Do you want to know who our new donor is in support of the Kindred podcast?
I would love to know who our new donor is.
Your daughter. Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Yes, so cute. Yep. Kindred is turning into a real family business over here. LOL. Now we just need the other 10 to 14 nieces and nephews to join.
Maybe we should put out a challenge to them.
Right? We'll just be basically Dynasty. Remember that show from the 80s?
I do.
That was a good one. I might start watching it again.
Yeah.
They just they released Moonlighting again.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
how that would hold up now if we watched it, if it would still be. I loved that show.
Well, I watched the trailer the other night with Dave. Boy, was it long. It was a long time to watch that show again, but I sort of enjoyed it again. And wow, were there some issues? Let me tell you. Wow.
That's what
Nothing like the 80s. Anyway, so wanted to let you know that we are offering two options for how you can support us. And the first is signing up for subscriptions, which is exclusively through Apple Podcasts and iPhone only. And when you subscribe, you will get bonus content and early access to regular episodes, which is gonna be real fun, if you do that. If you don't have an iPhone, you can support us via Buy Me a Coffee on our website, which is the option my lovely niece chose. It's the yellow cup of coffee on the homepage of our website, kindredpodcast.co, at the bottom left side of the page. Or you can find it under our donation page. And it's very simple. It's a one-time donation, and you get to choose how much you donate, which I love, right? It's just nice that it's not the subscriptions I love too, because it's just $4.99 a month and it comes out of your account. It's super easy peasy. But I also like a one-time donation too, which is good. So thank you to my niece and all the other nieces and nephews who clearly will start joining in support of our family dynasty business. And thank you to all of you who are supporting us. And now on to our episode and our guest today. We are speaking with Dawood Mohammad, who is the owner and operator of the rescue ARK, or Animal Rescue Kashmir, and that is located in Kashmir, India. We wanted to speak with Dawood specifically because I think it's really important to hear from rescues around the world who are doing grueling and oftentimes, just brutal rescue. Not to say that rescue in the States isn't very difficult and very hard. I think this is at a different level. And I did want to just sort of give you a trigger warning for those of you that might have trouble, hearing about physical trauma and injuries that animals can experience. So just a heads up on that. It's not too brutal what we talk about. We don't go too deep into it. But just a little heads up for all of us folks who are pretty sensitive to this too. I include myself in that. I just think there are so many people spending their own precious time and money trying to save dogs and cats and horses and donkeys in many countries around the world. And it's super important to give those people a lot of exposure. And people like Dawood are in the trenches of suffering and show levels of compassion and action that are just incredible. His level of dedication and dogged focus makes him absolutely part of the hero community. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
So we appreciate his time, we appreciate his work, and you know, we support him and will continue to support him however we can. So let's head to Kashmir and be humbled by the story of Animal Rescue Kashmir. See you at the takeaway. Dawood, welcome to Kindred, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really, we so appreciate your time. And could you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yeah, so I am Dawood Mohammad and about 37 years old, and I am a small business owner, and at the same time, I run an animal rescue center in Kashmir, the most primary center, rescuing most of the animals throughout Kashmir. Yeah.
So you're not really busy at all. You just run a full-time business and a full-time rescue. So no big deal. It's like just casual for you.
No, it is a big deal, but I don't have a choice because I need to run my business so that I could finance really this rescue works.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
rescue works is also a necessity.
Uh-huh, absolutely. Yes, 100%. And I actually, if we could just start, I'd like to set the scene for us and get a feel for Kashmir, just to sort of locate us and, what is the landscape and climate like in your area, and what animals are you typically rescuing?
Well, we are based in this Himalayan region of India, the topmost state of India. That's where we are. We are surrounded with mountains, but yeah, this is a valley. We have few rivers around, so the climate is mostly nice and cool and cold. We have about 3 to 4 months of good summer. Like nowadays, it's about 30 degrees, and that's a lot for us.
Mhm.
Uh, and the animals we rescue mostly are honestly dogs because the dog population is huge throughout India as well as in Kashmir as well as in the district I live in, which is Srinagar. But apart from dogs, our number two rescues would be horses, ponies, mules, and cats as well,
Hmm.
and some other animals as well, but they are very low in the number.
Right, right. Wow. So you're dealing with really large animals too. That's incredible.
Yes, especially in the year 2019 to 2020 and 21. These 3 years, we had a large number of rescues of horses because before COVID, there was some political unrest in Kashmir, due to which there was hardly any tourism in Kashmir, and horses are being used in large number for tourism purposes. But in 2019, due to the political unrest, as I said, there was no tourism, and the horse owners, they're all mostly poor people, so they feed them when they earn from them, and when they cannot earn from them, they really are not able to feed them as well because it's a cost, so they let them loose and let them fend for themselves. So 19, 20, and 21, then we had, after the political unrest, we had COVID following. So these 3 years, we had a large number of horses that would roam around the cities and the busy roads. So a lot of them would get hit by these large trucks or even smaller vehicles. So they would suffer injuries. And we might have rescued about 200 to 250 horses in those 3 years. And all of them were critical, and hardly any of them survived.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
That's really brutal. And we're going to get back to that. I have some more questions following up with that. But if we could start with a bit of history about Animal Rescue Kashmir and tell us how you started ARK and why were you compelled to do so?
Yeah, so after my early schooling, I left Kashmir and I lived out of Kashmir for about 14 years. For about 7 years, I lived in uh, in Delhi, in India, capital of India, and then 7 years I lived in UK, in London. I was studying there, working there, and late 2017, when I came back to Kashmir, uh, I saw the animals, the condition of stray animals was too bad, and not much was being done for them, and this animal welfare concept was sort of missing. Uh, and I really wanted to do something for them, and so I started rescuing these. I had these incidents where I rescued animals that were sick, and then slowly and gradually, these small rescues turn into an organization. Many times, people ask me that if it is my passion or if it is my hobby, and it isn't any of them. It is not my passion. It is not my hobby. It's just a necessity. I cannot see an animal dying, so it is a must. It's a necessity, basically. So that's how we started Animal Rescue Kashmir, and the name comes from ARK, as a Noah's Ark, which sort of had saved animals some
Yeah.
time back. Yeah, so the name comes from that ARK, and if you see our logo, it also has a boat which has few animals in it, and it comes from darkness, it goes towards light. So that was the concept here.
Oh wow, I was
Wow.
wondering if that was any kind of inspiration, the Noah's Ark, and I love
Yeah.
that. Oh my gosh, it hits the heart when you say coming from the dark and into the light. That's really sweet. That's beautiful. So take us to the shelter and your a day in the life of you. Like, what is a typical day if there is one for you?
No, honestly, every night when I sleep, I plan certain things. Yeah, I plan my day the next day, and when I wake up, even before I have woken up, I have, you know, dozens of messages on my phone, dozens of phone calls. So my plan, it never works out. So every morning I had to replan,
Yeah. Hmm.
because the challenges have, they're already piled up before I even wake up every morning.
Mm.
And it's a different set of challenges every single day. So, and I have a 2-year-old son, so he is also a challenge. God give him good health.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, so every day I go to my workplace first, and from there I coordinate my rescue operations as well. At the moment, we have about 6 employees, and we uh, we have a temporary space that has been provided to us by the local administration. So yeah, our workers, we come and they start cooking the food in a large quantity, because we have a large number of animals at the moment in our shelter. Then we have to, provide the medicines, provide the treatment. So every morning, first thing we try to do is that before we go out on a rescue, unless it's a dire emergency, we would want to first start cooking food, and as well as start the treatment that are for the animals that are in our shelter. And yeah, then I try to coordinate as many rescues as we can in one single day. And yeah, so it works like that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Now, do I'm curious, do you have like veterinary service? Like, do you have a veterinarian on staff, or do you have people that come in and consult, or how do you deal with the injured animals?
Unfortunately, it's none of the two. We have to take the injured animals to the hospital,
I see.
and we consult the doctors there. If it's during the daytime, if it's during the working hours, like between 10 to 5, 10 to 4:30, we take them to the government hospitals. If it is beyond that, then we have to take them to the private clinics. Yeah, but unfortunately, we
Yeah.
do not have vet on our rescue center.
Yeah, That's a real challenge. I used to volunteer at a wildlife clinic in Pennsylvania, and same thing. We didn't have a vet on staff, but we had somebody who would come in and consult. Otherwise, we had to outsource, take the animals to other bigger facilities that could manage that. But it just is. I think it's the majority of places. That's the way it is because just of money
Yeah,
and
it's even more time consuming and more difficult to take an animal to a shelter because
much more.
time matters. You have limited time and you have
Right.
numerous tasks to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
Yeah.
that's why, like you're saying like there is no typical day for you, right? And it's whatever you need at the time, just has to be taken care of in the best way that you can.
True.
So let's talk about like what are the challenges that the animals are facing, and what are their biggest threats in your area?
Uh, you see, the population of dogs in Kashmir is huge. Let's talk about dogs because you see, these are the number of highest animals that we rescue every day is dogs. So the population in Srinagar is a very small district, not very big. Is I think about 4 years back it was about 70,000, and currently, as per some estimates, it's 100,000. So we have about 30,000 new dogs in about span of 4 years. So
Wow.
that's a huge number. Dogs usually produce twice a year, and at times they produce about 5 to 7 pups. Not all of them survive living on the streets, but still the population is huge. So since the population is huge, they live on streets, they live on roads, they meet a lot of accidents, uh, and they have other illnesses, common illnesses, a lot of viruses, bacterial infections, viral infections, fungal infections. Skin issues is a lot of very common issue. If you happen to come to Kashmir anytime, you would see that the dogs in Kashmir, they have lost so many dogs. If you go to any area, you will see them. They lost most of their fur. They get this skin infection called mange. It
Yep.
runs from a dog to dog and animal to animal.
Yes.
It's very common, and yeah, in summers it becomes even more of an issue. In winters also it's an issue because since a dog would not have no fur on its body, so it would feel more winter. It would feel more cold, and it can get hypothermia and it can die because of cold. But in summer it's a different challenge. Animal doesn't have fur, so it starts scratching itself because of the sun, and even a small scratch would attract flies and it would have maggots within days. So nowadays, most of our rescues include maggot-infested dogs, and I think that is the worst. You know, I don't know how to say it. A worst position a dog can get into. I would rather want a dog to die in an accident than being infested with maggots, because it's like an animal being eaten alive. The animal is being eaten while it's alive, and it's just it's unimaginable, and I cannot probably even talk how difficult and how brutal it is. Like yesterday, we went to rescue a large dog in a particular area, and we couldn't find that one. But one of my teammates, he was just looking around behind some homes, behind some houses, and he heard some cries. A puppy was crying, and he called me instantly. This guy was quite new, so he's not very confident in handling animals yet.
Yeah.
So as soon as I reached there, I saw this puppy. He was rolling on his back, rolling on his stomach, and the mother was quite nearby, and she was barking constantly. And when I picked it up, it had a wound underneath its front limb, and it had maggots in it, and it hardly had opened its eyes. It was just a newborn pup, and it was being eaten alive, and it was crying constantly. So we picked him up and rushed to the hospital. It took us about 45 minutes to reach to the hospital, but it cried constantly. It didn't stop even for a second. Continuously it was crying, the small pup.
Yeah.
Anyways, we treated him, and it's all good now. And just an hour back, I fed it some milk, and it was much calmer now.
Yeah.
But that's the misery the dogs face, and animals also faced.
Right, right. Yeah. And I think so. It sounds like the major issue is just the overwhelming amount of dogs, right? So they're going to have issues with each other. There's so many of them, they're getting hit by cars and then they get injured and then the infection that sets in. And then, what's their access to food and water? And just like, and
Food.
Yeah, right.
The food is limited. The number of dogs is increasing. The food is still limited.
Right.
And recently, due to the recent developments in the Kashmir region, there's people used to throw a lot of waste food on the streets, but now the government has increased their cleanliness drive, and they're picking up all the rubbish from the streets. So there's hardly any food on the streets, which is a good in a way, but it is bad in a way as well, because the animals are not getting enough food. So when the food is limited, they would fight amongst each other,
Right.
and thus cause more pain and misery.
And that's not something I would think about, where of course you would want trash collection and cleaner streets, and it's more healthy for humans and animals to live. But then you're saying, well, now these street dogs, this is what they rely on as far as like a main supplement of their food. And so it's just another, human sort of interaction that we're creating this problem with these animals. And then we're
Right.
taking we're creating even another problem by trying to like clean up and all that. And these poor dogs, it's just so brutal.
Yeah, and
It
I'm sure
is.
there are people like you who have compassion for them and feel empathy, but they might not have the resources to feed them either. So it's not like just because you love animals, you can help too.
Right.
That's the
You
problem.
can feed 70 to 100,000 dogs, like not anybody, right? So it's just so overwhelming. But one thing I was wondering about is, do you have any access through vet care to spay and neuter the animals that you bring in?
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
We do not. You see, at the moment, we have about 5 dogs in our shelter that have a tumor, mammary tumors. 5 dogs, yeah, which we have rescued in last week or 10 days. And we are trying to get an appointment for them for a surgery, but we are not able to get an instant appointment for a surgery of a dog that has a huge tumor hanging on his body.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that it's difficult to get a date for a surgery that has a tumor. So spaying is just out of question. It's very difficult.
Not
Even the
it
medical.
can't be. Yeah, right. It can't be a priority because there's other more pressing issues. Yeah.
Exactly.
There are dogs with tumors,
Yeah.
and we are not able to get them treated on time. So spaying is not what we have been able to focus on at the moment.
Yeah, and that's completely understandable. Like that makes absolute sense. It's like, what is the priority for their care and saving them and cleaning them up, and you have limited access to vet care. So this is and now, it's like now we can switch to talking about like, what are your major challenges and biggest challenges that you face? And this is the same as the animals. Like Jen's already, you guys talked about the process of gaining access to vet care is a huge challenge. And how many, like, give us an idea of what does that mean? Like, how many vets do you even work with, or do you have the access to?
You see, we have a central veterinary hospital in Srinagar. We usually go there. Most of our cases go there because it is the most nearest and even the most equipped hospital. Then we have another veterinary college, which also has a clinic that they provide, clinical services that they provide, but it is quite far away. So it's like 30 kilometers away from where we are.
Right.
Due to the huge traffic, and also it would take us like about 2 hours to reach there, or 1.5 hours to reach there. So for us, time is very important. Every single day, time is very important. Even the minutes are important for us, because at this we have to feed dogs, we have to treat them, we have to pick up dogs, and then we have to put them back. So Central Veterinary Hospital has about two to three doctors. We are mostly reliant on 2 surgeons,
Right.
Dr. Kazi Mudassir and Dr. Permit. And then we have at veterinary college, at times we go there as well. Dr. Shahid, amazing doctor, amazing surgeon.
Mm.
So we have few doctors on our disposal, but we would have really a doctor at our shelter would have made a huge difference.
Yeah, of course, of course.
And I'm curious, do you have your 6 people that work for you? Are those paid employees or are those volunteers?
No, they are paid,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. Do you have volunteers? Is there such a thing as people who have free time and can help? I don't know.
You see, many times sometimes I do these live videos and all on my social media, and I ask people that if somebody wants to volunteer, they can always come up and volunteer. But you see, at that time, I get a lot of people saying, and we're gonna come, but I haven't seen any yet.
Yes.
But if you
None.
feel
Okay.
it,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, many a times I did get some volunteers at our shelter, but when they get to see what kind of work it is, and after a couple of visits, they would, rather stay home and do what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's a dirty job, it's not
Right.
easy,
No,
it's
right.
messy.
Yeah.
It's messy.
And it's not the fun part. A lot of people want to play with the animals. They don't want to clean up
Exactly.
poop
Yeah. Exactly. When I come there, you
yeah.
gotta clean the poop, gotta clean the kennels. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, we
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah. Do some more dishes. Yeah. Some laundry. Yeah. Right. It's not glamorous. Yeah.
Not glamorous. It's dirty, and it is sad, and it's hard, and
Yeah.
I understand that. So in terms of operations for you, like, what are your biggest challenges? Like, is it transportation? Is it money? Is it employees? Is it all of the things?
Well, money obviously is number one challenge, but with money, what we would have solved, I would like to just emphasize on them. Uh, we have one ambulance at the moment, so one ambulance has to pick up dogs, and then it has to take the dogs for the treatment as well, and it has to do everything. So if we had another vehicle, if we had another ambulance, or if one ambulance goes on one direction, we are not able to go to the other direction on the same day because it's due to the huge traffic. It's just impossible to go to 2 different directions in one single day.
Yeah.
So if we had 2 ambulances, we could send a couple of guys on this side, couple of guys on the north, couple on the south. So another vehicle, and we do not have enough staff members as well. So 6 employees are not able to do justice to the animals. Like right now, I came back from the shelter a little while back, some 45 minutes back, I came back from the shelter. And honestly, I was thinking with myself that are we doing the best? Is this the best? Because I see a lot of animals are still suffering. I would want to do better. But with the limited resources, there is no way we could do better than this. We need to have more manpower. We need to have better infrastructure to do better. So we do not have a space as well. I'm not best with the mathematical measures, but honestly, our shelter is like a couple of rooms, and it's already congested. We have all dogs together there, smaller, bigger, aggressive, non-aggressive, mothers, lactating, non-lactating, breed dogs, non-breed dogs, paralyzed, and normal dogs. So a better space as well. And people do not donate as well in this part of the region. So that's also a big challenge.
Yeah, a big challenge, and the costs are huge, and you're paying for this, I'm assuming. And do you get any support from the government? Are grants a possibility?
As of now, none, zero, absolute zero. Apart from the government veterinarians, there is no support from the government at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were just talking about how when you were driving back, you were thinking about, is this the best way? Are you doing the best that you can? And my question for you is, day in and day out, you must be asking yourself these questions. And how do you keep going? Like, how do you stay positive? Or even if you're not positive, like, how do you continue to do this day after day? And is there a way that you take care of your own self?
No, honestly, it's very difficult, and it's very discouraging and demoralizing, and it sometimes takes a great impact on my mental state as well.
Yeah.
Because one thing is that you bring an animal, and then second thing is you got to take care of it. Like we have maggot-infested dogs right now at our shelter. And as I told you, for me, maggot-infested animals are the worst scene, worst sight. And at times I do get demoralized and I want to leave everything. But then I'm like, what's going to happen to all the animals that, that are getting better, that are being saved? Nobody's going to take care of them. So I try to keep my hopes high, and I tell myself every single day that we will get better. We got to get better. There is no other way. We cannot leave it. I cannot leave it. We just have to find ways how we will get better. And we have been better than what we were 1 year back or what we were 2 years back. And hopefully we will be better in coming time, and we'll be able to provide better care to the animals. So there is no going back. There is no, way that I could just leave it. At times I do get such thoughts, but
Yeah, of
I
course.
just try to hope.
Yeah, yes, yes. And I think it's that focusing on what you are changing, and that there are animals that you are caring for, and that you saved so many lives, and you're making such a huge difference, even just for that one baby puppy, right? That it doesn't have to be writhing in discomfort and pain anymore. You saved that baby. And the fact that like one at a time is making such a huge difference. And I think suffering in the world is a very hard thing to hold. And when you're a sensitive being and a sensitive person, you feel that suffering in the world, and it can be very overwhelming. I understand that. But the fact that you are doing this every day, like you say, you can't go back and you can't stop because there is such a high need, is why we think you are such an exceptional, amazing person. And the way you're also doing it with no support, no help really, is just astonishing to us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So in sort of that thought, why is this an important conversation for you to have for us here, and to hear about ARK and what you're doing, and what new awareness can we have through the work you're doing and this conversation?
You see, awareness is very important, and I want people to know what we do and how difficult it is for us to do. And maybe they could do similar things in their area. Maybe it is not as big of a need in their world, in their part of the world, but I'm sure animals need care and support in everywhere around the world, in different ways, in different levels, but definitely they do need help. And animals are being abused throughout the world. That's a fact. Maybe in the part where you live, or where the audiences of this show would be, maybe they don't have as many stray animals as we have, but definitely there's still a need of awareness of the importance of their well-being. And also, maybe there would be some good some people who would want to help us as well, because you see, as I just mentioned, that we have one ambulance, but this one ambulance also we bought from an international award that we received, because the international award was it's called Shining World Compassion Award. So it's basically an organization that recognizes social work and tries to help them by providing monetary reward as well. So we received 10,000 US dollars last year through this award, and we were able to buy the ambulance because of the award only. So before we had an ambulance, we used to rent out a local, sort of transport every single day, and the costs were double of what they are at the moment. And also, the availability was not, as good as it is now. Like we can go on a rescue more freely nowadays. We can decide our times and all.
Yeah.
And we can go on rescues on odd hours as well. So maybe people see it, and hopefully somebody would want to help us as well. So helping us means that helping the animals, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And this conversation makes me, I just want to touch on one thing I think is important. It makes me think about, we talk a lot of people to a lot of people who are in conservation, and they're trying to save, whales and lots of different animals. And that's all, it's so important and it's so critical. And they deal with a lot of are we making a difference in the same conversation that you're having? And I think the difference, though, for me that I see with the rescue that you're doing and the work that ARK is doing is that you live in it and are among it all the time. You don't get to go and live there and then go back to your home, another place, and work in your office and money raising and that sort of thing. It's a different type of, and I've never thought about it this way, it's a different type of conservation in a way that is like in the trenches all the time. And it's just incredibly difficult. But I'd never thought about rescue in, sort of versus conservation, and everyone has their challenges. I just think that what you're doing is exceptionally difficult.
Definitely it is, yeah. As I said, it comes with different challenges every single day.
Yeah. And we appreciate this conversation so much. It's important for us to hear like the details too of what you deal with. It really is important for people to hear like what other human beings are working with in a day in and day out. And you told us a little bit about how we can support you. Where can we follow you so that we can see your content?
We are mostly active on Instagram, though we have a Facebook page as well, but I think Instagram is mostly used by people nowadays. And due to the limited resources, again, for social media also you need manpower.
Yes.
And with our limited manpower, we are more focused on Instagram at the moment, and all our details are there. We usually, post our work on Instagram. But again, the work we have done, we have only uploaded, I would say, 10% of the work we have done till now. We have rescued more than 3,800 animals till now, and I think we have only 300 posts about our rescues. So there's a gap of 3,500 animals that we have not posted on our social media.
Of course.
So
now,
yeah.
So can we, if people want to donate, can we do that through Instagram? And is there a link to your website, or do you have a website?
We do not have a website, but we have these. We have a link to this fundraising websites. You have these fundraising portals. So we have a link of that.
And what is your
page.
Instagram? What is your Instagram handle? What is it?
It's very simple. It's called Animal Rescue Kashmir. Animal Rescue Kashmir.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great.
It has our logo on it. As I said, ARK with animals in.
Yeah, no, that's lovely. We will definitely be sharing all that through our Instagram when this episode drops. And again, Dawood, thank you so much for your time. We know how busy you are, and we just really appreciate you just sort of walking us through, just sort of touching the edge of what it's like for what you do. And thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, and thank you so much for the work you're doing. That's just, it really is an inspiration. And, I wish you luck and lots of more people to come and help you and more money.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we got to hope. You see, there's no other way. Hope has to be there. Yes. Every single day we hope. Yep. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Jen, for allowing me to talk and expressing my life and the life of animals in this part of the world. Thank you.
Oh, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and all the best of luck. Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Takeaway. I just have to say, like, other than many things that hit me in this conversation, I feel like there were 2 or 3 things that really stood out for me. And again, the whole conversation was impactful, to say the least. I think it really kind of hits you in the gut a little bit and definitely gets you in the heart space, that is for sure. But it was interesting because this conversation with Dawood, was the first time that I ever sort of thought about rescue not as a form of conservation, but in comparison to conservation, where oftentimes there are people living amongst the animals all the time, right? And they're doing science and they're doing research and things like that. And that is a huge part of it. And I think oftentimes, though, in conservation, people get a break. They can go home and get some mental space and some heart space, and sort of recoup. And it really hit me that in this conversation with ARK and with Dawood, it was really, he never gets a break and he's never away from it. And it was like a different form of conservation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think,
yeah, that's incredibly challenging to just be constantly immersed in it.
yeah, absolutely. And so that really hit me in a very different way.
Yeah.
And then, just the idea that also, people talk about compassion fatigue and things like that. I feel like I don't like to compare, and I don't do comparative suffering, right? But at the same time, like it is different here. And when we kind of asked him, like, hey, so, I'm like, yeah, we've got a lot of strays and, shelters here and things. He's like, yeah, it's not the same. He's, like you said, he's lived in London, he's lived around the world, right? So he knows the comparison. He's lived it. And I really took that on board. Living amongst it is just a whole different world. I think the other thing to me that was just this strange, like, sort of idea, like, so there's an insane amount of dogs in the street, right? And then so there's not enough food for them. And then, so they eat the trash, which is a food source for them. And then, of course, as they should, the municipalities clean up the trash. So then there's no food for the dogs. And because there's so many dogs. And I just thought, like, I never thought of this sort of reciprocal kind of terrible, like, they can never win, right?
The vicious cycle. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Vicious cycle. And then obviously, and also that means that, like, ARK can never win, right? Like,
right.
It's just that sort of thing to me is, it can just be so overwhelming. But to my 2 points, you had really interesting points. I loved what, you and I were talking about before we started recording.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I think that surprised me, and another situation where I have to check my biases, where when we were talking about, I think he said there were 70,000 dogs and then they're up to 100,000 now since the pandemic. I mean, just that exponential growth in the last 4 years or something. And
right.
I think you brought up, the spay neuter idea, and he was very polite.
Yes.
About saying, when you're on a waiting list to get, a surgery for a dog that has a mammary tumor that, is very impactful, maybe not life-threatening, I'm not sure, but like, that's good. They're still having trouble getting that. So neutering and spaying are just not on the table, because that's so far down the list of priorities. That, or when you have, like he said, a baby puppy, a puppy that's being eaten alive by maggots, that's more pressing than neutering or spaying. So it made me feel, talk about that impact in the heart space. I mean, it's like, wow, this is really hard. They're really dealing with difficult issues. That was very impactful, that that's just not available.
Well, right, like he's on, he's on a triage level, right? They're just
exactly.
Triage to save the animal, get them cleaned up and medicated and back out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That is so true. He was like, no, we don't have the option. We don't get to spay and neuter, and they don't even have the staff to do it anyway. It's just
they don't. That was just a reminder that things are, it's different.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful that maybe with spreading the word that they can get more resources, and that can be helpful. But anyway, that was the one thing. And then the other thing was when he said, again, something that just hit me, when he said, this is not my hobby. This is not my passion. That's not why I do this. I do this because I can't stand to just drive past the suffering. I can't do it. So he has a full-time business that he runs, and he has a 2-year-old son and a wife, and he is doing this because somebody has to, and that's the kind of person he is. But this is not his dream to do this. So that also was like, oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes, that was a definite, oh, wow moment. Like, oh my gosh. Because you expected him to say like,
yeah,
oh, like, this is my passion. This is what I want to do.
I totally expected that.
Actually, I kind of don't. But he literally doesn't have a choice. And I get that. I get that. But wowza. I mean.
Well, yeah. And just that, it's a hard life he lives. It's just a hard life.
It is. And that sort of leads me to like, how can we help, right? Like solutions, because we can like get stuck in these moments in all forms of the conversations that we have on this podcast. Like, what can we actually do? And I think, if you're someone listening close to where Dawood lives, there are 2 things you can do. You could offer some time. You could volunteer as little or as much, or send him money. And I think if you're you and I, where we can't physically help him, like boots on the ground, like we can offer him, support through sending him a donation. And I think
I really hope that people will do from listening to this, because I know it sometimes feels like not enough to just send $5 or send $10 or send $100, whatever your life allows.
Right.
But good grief, after this conversation, you realize, oh, that would make a huge difference to him.
Yeah, it really would. Like, even if he was saying like he got a grant for another ambulance, like he would double his whole territory.
Right.
And I mean, I think it is like, and he's always offering safe, like viable ways through his Instagram at ARK.
Right.
And I think, Animal Rescue Kashmir, you can look it up on Instagram. That's his handle. And I think,
they have a donation platform there, he said.
Yep, there's a donation platform there. And literally, like, it just takes, all you have to do is go, like me, you know your credit card number, but I have to go get my credit card and then I put it in, right? But it takes all of less than 5 minutes for $5. Like, you can do a one-shot deal. It really, truly does make a difference. And I think we don't usually push that on this podcast, but I do think in certain circumstances, it's the only way we can help. And I can do $5 or $10 or more. And I think that's where, especially at this giving time around the holidays, it's going to truly help. And
yeah, totally. And even if it's doesn't get to the $10,000 that he needs to get another ambulance, it can help pay his staff or help buy some food or help, whatever it is, that these things that he does every day. And, I mean, the ambulance is the like pie in the sky goal, because that also was so crazy to me, where they have to decide if they have, in this part of India, they have an emergency, and in this part, he can only choose one, because they can't, because of the traffic there too, which I have been to India. It is next level. We think we deal with traffic here. There are so many humans trying to move there that they can't make it to more than one place in one day, one business day. That's it.
Right. Yep. No, absolutely.
Like, they just have so many different obstacles they're dealing with than we can wrap our brains around.
And he's the only one in Kashmir in this one part of India. Like, he's the only rescue there. He's the only one doing this.
Right.
So, and again, this is not to guilt anyone. If you don't donate it, it's okay. It's just hearing it and being aware of the situation out there, that there are people, dedicating their lives to this, and ultimately feel like they don't have a choice a lot of times. And I think that's where, if you do feel like you have the time and the money to just send a couple bucks, is fantastic. And So you can find his links on our website, kindredpodcast.co. We will be putting links there for him and his Instagram and the safe way to donate to him. And we'll talk about that in our newsletter, which you can subscribe to on the podcast as well. I mean, on the website as well. And then obviously, follow us and follow him on Instagram and Facebook. And we are at the Kindred Pod. And also, please rate and review an episode like this because it gets us more exposure through Apple, and that means that our guests get more exposure and more awareness about their life work, and that is our ultimate goal. And so I think that's where we sort of say, please rate and review us. Again, it's 2 seconds, and the more exposure we get means the more exposure ARK gets, and maybe that gets him a bit more money, which is just so critical. So thanks for sitting with us in this episode. We really appreciate your support. We really appreciate you listening. Lots of love. We'll see you next time. Kindred is hosted by me and my sister Jen, produced by Kat Gaddy and myself, sound production and editing by Dan Cooper, original music by Ellie Grace, and our Kindred artwork was created by Lindsay Coffin. Please follow, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And feel free to contact us through our website at kindredpodcast.co, where you can also find links to our socials, Patreon page, and show notes.